Well, good day, my fellow educators. I trust this video finds you doing very well, that you're filled with enthusiasm and still excited about the darlings that are entering your classroom every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Charmaine Miller, a former elementary and junior high school teacher, now an educational consultant and an adjunct professor at the College of the Bahamas. I want to first say to you, thank you for sticking it through. Thank you for all that you do as the teacher in the classroom. Your job matters and what you're doing makes a wonderful contribution to the communities around us. And you might be feeling overwhelmed right now. Trust me, a lot of people, a lot of educators are. It's natural. But hang in there and know that you're going to have a little break soon. All right. And just want to say to you that the video that I'm putting together here today is just a very short one, just to talk about something that's really crucial right now, and that is maximizing our time. In fact, how do we redeem the time when we have issues going on that we can't control? For example, here in the Bahamas, we just had a very horrific hurricane, and it wiped out about 2 weeks of instructional time. Schools were closed. And so now teachers are going back into the classroom and they're trying to figure out how do we get what seemed to have been already a difficult task done in such a short time. Well, I know it's going to be hard, but of course, we have to look at ways we can maximize our time. And the reality of it is, even if it's not a hurricane, it could be a snowstorm, it could be a tornado, whatever it is. Sometimes you have unexpected closure of schools. We can't help it. It's just nature. But the reality check here is that a lot of times we're losing a lot of time in our classroom just by simple things. For example, the research is telling us that the average teacher spends about 20% of their instructional time just trying to get the students' attention. Can you imagine that? Now, 20% may not sound like a lot, but believe it or not, that works out to about a full day every week of lost instructional time. That's huge considering the amount of work that has to get done. So what do we do then? Well, the whole idea is we need to get the students' attention, right? We do. So what can we do? We need to look at some effective quiet signals, those that take 10 seconds or less. And I love the ones that put the onus on the students rather than on us. For example, you could even ask your students to help you give you an idea of some signals. But here's an example of one. You can probably say, if you can hear me, clap twice. And you notice my voice went down. So it gives an opportunity for those who are in your immediate vicinity to respond. And when they do, guess what happens? Those who did not hear heard the clapping, and they're going to join perhaps if you say it again, or they know it's time to pay attention. So I sometimes will say, now if you can hear me, clap 3 times. So it gives an opportunity for everybody to join. And another one, two, you might say 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me. And they in turn respond, 1, 2, eyes on you. So now you know you've gotten their attention. When I was teaching the lower primary grades, one of the students really, well, actually, the grades that I taught, they all loved this one here that I like to do. It's said, chugga, 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 chugga. And of course, they'll respond by saying, what do you think? You got it. Choo choo. And another one they also liked was another that was what was actually my favorite was dum da da dum dum. And I would do this and they would say dum dum. And they pretty much knew, hey, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. So think of those quiet signals, and if you're out of ideas, ask them. But try avoid using the light switching off and on, because you have some smart Alex sometime who, when they start seeing the light, especially if you're teaching, in the upper primary grades or perhaps in the high school, they're gonna start doing their little, they dance. They say, "Oh, it's a disco." You don't want that. And you might have some who have some attention deficit disorders and other things. So switching on the light or knocking on the desk with something sharp might not be the ideal thing. So let's look at some quiet signals. And if you're out of ideas, don't be afraid to ask the students. They have a lot of ideas in their heads. And perhaps one more thing I want to share too is besides the signals to get their attention, what about some signals for them to get your attention that doesn't distract from what you're doing? For example, they might want to use the restroom. You might simply say, okay, one finger for the restroom. And you will in turn either nod or, nod in agreement or shake your head and say no, because you might want to let them stay in for a particular uh, activity you're going to about to do. Two my fingers might mean I need to sharpen my pencil. 3 fingers might simply mean I need a drink of water. Whatever it is, just make sure they know how they can get your attention without making a big scene, and make sure they know how you want to get their attention as well. All right. So that's all I want to share with you today. We just need to do what we can do to redeem the time in the classroom. We may have lost some time, but we can get it back. If this video has helped you or encouraged you in any way, feel free to share it or tag a friend in it. In the meantime, let's choose as educators to keep learning and growing because what we learn becomes a part of who we are. And like Einstein said, once we stop learning, we start dying. So teachers, never stop learning because life, believe it or not, never stops teaching. Never stops teaching. Until next time, God bless. Take care.